In the bustling heart of New York City, where the relentless hum of daily life never ceased, 16-year-old Marcus Johnson made his way onto the crowded subway. Despite the chaos of the morning rush hour, he carried a serene expression, lost in the melodies flowing from his headphones. The train jolted forward, and the passengers swayed in a clumsy, synchronized dance. Marcus, noticing a vacant seat, quickly made his way and settled in. His backpack still clung to his shoulder. The train screeched and halted at the next station, and a new wave of passengers surged in. Among them was a visibly pregnant woman, her expression tired, holding onto a strap as she stood just a few feet from Marcus. She seemed to brace herself with every lurch of the train. Marcus, observing her discomfort, hesitated for a moment. A battle between the comfort of sitting after his own long morning and the act of kindness he knew he was raised to perform played out in his mind. With a decisive motion, he pulled out his earbuds, stood up, and gently offered his seat to the woman. "Please take my seat," Marcus said, his voice barely audible over the clatter of the train. The woman looked surprised, her weary eyes softening. "Thank you so much," she replied, her voice laced with gratitude as she carefully took the offered seat. Marcus nodded, a small smile gracing his lips as he steadied himself against a pole. The rest of the journey was uneventful, with Marcus lost in his thoughts, pondering the assignments due and the basketball game he was eager not to miss. As the train neared his stop, Marcus prepared to disembark, gathering his thoughts and his belongings. Just as he was about to step out, the woman he had given his seat to called out to him. "Young man," she said, reaching into her bag. Marcus paused, turning to face her. The woman pulled out a small, crumpled envelope and handed it to him. "This is for you," she said, a mysterious smile playing on her lips. Puzzled, Marcus took the envelope, thanking her with a nod as he stepped off the train. The doors closed behind him with a hiss, leaving him alone with the envelope in his hand. He turned it over, noticing it was unsealed. Curiosity piqued. He opened it and pulled out a small note. The handwriting was neat, almost artistic. Marcus unfolded the paper and read, "Dear kind soul, thank you for your generosity this morning. It's rare to encounter such kindness in the rush of our daily lives. I want you to know that your simple act of giving up your seat has not gone unnoticed. I am more than just a passenger. I am someone who has the opportunity to change your life, as you have brightened mine today. Please meet me tomorrow at the address below. I believe in paying it forward, and I see a bright future for you. Warm regards, Evelyn Winters." Below the note was an address in a prestigious part of the city, far from the neighborhoods Marcus was familiar with. His heart raced with a mix of excitement and confusion. What could this mean? What did this stranger see in him? As Marcus walked out of the subway station, the city noise enveloping him once again, he felt the weight of the envelope in his hand. Whatever lay ahead, his day, and perhaps his life, was about to change. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the streets as Marcus navigated his way through the bustling city. With the envelope securely tucked in his backpack, thoughts of the mysterious note consumed him. The name Evelyn Winters echoed in his mind, a puzzle awaiting its solution. He decided to share the incident with his mother, hoping her insights would illuminate the situation. Upon arriving home, Marcus found his mother in the kitchen, her hands busy preparing dinner. The aroma of spices filled the air, creating a warm, inviting atmosphere. He approached her, his curiosity unable to be contained any longer. "Mom, something strange happened today on the subway," Marcus began, recounting the morning's events and the subsequent exchange with the pregnant woman. He handed the note to his mother, watching her eyes scan the content, her brow furrowed in concentration. Evelyn Winters? I don't recognize the name," she muttered, handing back the note. "But this address, it's in one of the wealthiest parts of town. Whoever she is, she must be quite influential." Encouraged by his mother's pragmatic yet intrigued response, Marcus resolved to meet this enigmatic benefactor. He spent the evening wrestling with possibilities, his imagination running wild with each passing hour. What could a stranger possibly offer that would alter the course of his life? The next morning, dressed in his best yet modest attire, Marcus set out to the address provided. The subway ride felt longer than usual. each station a reminder of the ever-increasing distance from his familiar surroundings. The upscale neighborhood was lined with towering buildings, their glass facades reflecting the clear blue sky. He located the building, an imposing structure with a polished nameplate that read Winters Global Enterprises. A rush of nerves hit him as he pushed through the revolving doors into a sleek lobby. The interior was modern and immaculate, adorned with abstract art and a minimalist design that spoke of refined tastes. Approaching the reception desk, Marcus introduced himself. The receptionist, a young woman with a professional smile, nodded knowingly. "Ah, yes, Miss Winters is expecting you. Please take the elevator to the penthouse suite," she instructed, pointing towards a set of silver elevators. As Marcus ascended to the penthouse, the elevator's soft music did little to calm his mounting apprehension. The doors opened, and he stepped into a spacious office, the cityscape visible through floor-to-ceiling windows offering a breathtaking view. There, standing by the window, was a woman with an air of quiet authority. She turned, her gaze meeting his, her smile reassuring yet filled with a mysterious promise. "Marcus, I've been expecting you," she began, her voice calm and inviting. "Let's talk about why I believe you are here for a reason far greater than either of us could have initially imagined." As they sat down, the city below seemed to pause, the moment pregnant with potential, ready to unfold the narrative of Marcus's unforeseen journey. Evelyn Winters motioned towards the plush chairs facing her grand desk, the panoramic view of the city serving as a backdrop. Marcus took his seat, his mind teeming with questions, each one vying for precedence over the others. Evelyn regarded him with a thoughtful expression, her hands clasped together as if to frame her next words carefully. "You might be wondering why you're here, Marcus," Evelyn began, her voice steady and clear. "I have been in the business of identifying potential for a long time, and something about your gesture on the subway spoke volumes about your character. It's not just about giving up a seat. It's about recognizing when to act, how to act, and doing so with grace." She paused for a moment, allowing the weight of her words to sink in. Marcus nodded, absorbing her observation, eager to understand the full scope of her interest. "Evelyn Winters Enterprises is involved in numerous philanthropic endeavors," she continued. "We support educational programs, startup initiatives, and leadership training designed to empower young individuals who show promise, individuals like yourself." Marcus felt a mixture of pride and bewilderment. Why him? His life had been a series of routines and responsibilities, nothing that would mark him as extraordinary in his own eyes. "We would like to offer you a scholarship," Evelyn declared, sliding a folder across the desk towards him. "This isn't just financial support. It's an opportunity to be mentored by leaders in various fields, access to internships, and a chance to develop your skills in areas you are passionate about." The room seemed to grow larger around him as the magnitude of her offer dawned on Marcus. A scholarship that could alter the trajectory of his life, presented because of a simple act of kindness. "To make this a reality, there are steps we need to take," she added, outlining the process. "You'll meet with educators and counselors who will help you plan your academic path. You'll also participate in community projects to enhance your understanding of leadership and civic responsibility." As Evelyn spoke, Marcus's initial nervousness transformed into a spark of ambition. The thought of altering his path, of breaking the mold set by his humble beginnings, ignited a newfound enthusiasm within him. "We also encourage our scholars to travel," she mentioned, her eyes lighting up with the excitement of possibilities. "Experiencing different cultures, learning from diverse communities, and seeing the world from various perspectives are crucial parts of your education." The conversation shifted towards logistics, timelines, and expectations. Marcus listened intently, each detail embedding itself in his mind as he envisioned the vast horizon expanding before him. Evelyn's words painted a picture of a world much bigger than the one he had known, a world filled with challenges, learning, and immense growth. As their meeting concluded, Evelyn stood and offered her hand, her demeanor both welcoming and formidable. "Welcome to the beginning of your journey, Marcus. I look forward to seeing where this path takes you." Stepping out of the elevator back into the bustling streets, Marcus felt as though he was seeing everything for the first time. The city, with all its noise and chaos, seemed to whisper of potential, of opportunity, and of a future waiting to be shaped. As Marcus stepped into the sunlight, the urban cacophony felt transformed, each sound a symphony of potential pathways. The city, once a familiar playground, now seemed a launch pad for his aspirations. With Evelyn's proposition echoing in his thoughts, he traversed the concrete expanse to his next destination, the public library, a place he frequented for solace and study. Today, the library's grand reading room, with its towering shelves and silent, studious ambiance, was a sanctuary where he could contemplate his future. Settling into a secluded corner, Marcus opened the folder given to him by Evelyn. It contained detailed brochures and documents outlining the scholarship, its benefits, and the expectations from its recipients. Each page revealed another layer of the opportunity afforded to him, from academic courses that stretched his intellectual boundaries to workshops designed to hone his leadership skills. Intrigued by the emphasis on global awareness, Marcus pored over the descriptions of international study programs. The idea of traveling abroad, experiencing new cultures firsthand, and studying under esteemed mentors was exhilarating. He imagined himself walking through historic cities, engaging with local scholars, and bringing back knowledge and experiences to share with his community. Deep in his analysis, Marcus barely noticed the hours slipping by. The library's clock chimed, pulling him back to the present. He realized he needed to discuss these developments with someone who could offer guidance. Packing up the documents, he decided to visit his high school basketball coach, Mr. Simmons, who had always been a mentor to him. Arriving at the school gym, Marcus found Mr. Simmons overseeing a practice session. The coach greeted him with a warm handshake, his eyes reflecting genuine interest. "Marcus, what brings you here today, looking to shoot some hoops?" Mr. Simmons asked with a chuckle. "Not today, coach. I actually came to get some advice on something pretty important," Marcus replied, his voice tinged with earnestness. They sat on the bleachers as Marcus relayed his subway encounter, the meeting with Evelyn, and the scholarship offer. Mr. Simmons listened intently, nodding occasionally, his experienced gaze assessing the situation. "Sounds like a life-altering opportunity, Marcus, but it also sounds like you'll be stepping into a much bigger world," Mr. Simmons observed, his tone both cautionary and encouraging. "You'll need to prepare yourself, not just academically, but personally. Are you ready to take on this challenge?" Their conversation delved into the practical aspects of such a commitment, balancing studies with the demanding schedule of a scholarship recipient, maintaining his grades, and managing the inevitable cultural shifts he would experience abroad. As dusk began to settle, the gym emptied, leaving them alone in the quiet. Mr. Simmons imparted a few more pieces of advice about resilience and adaptability, crucial traits for anyone stepping into unknown territories. Leaving the gym, Marcus felt fortified with purpose and direction. His next steps were clear. He would need to formally accept the scholarship, begin preparing for the academic challenges ahead, and start planning for the cultural immersion trips. Each step forward was a move towards fulfilling not only his potential, but also his dream of making a meaningful impact. As he walked home under the starlit sky, the evening air seemed to whisper possibilities, each breath a promise of the journey to come. Early the following morning, Marcus set about making his intentions a reality. He reached out to the contact person listed in Evelyn's documents to express his acceptance and discuss the immediate next steps. The voice on the other end of the phone was warm and encouraging, providing him with a checklist of actions to complete before he could be officially enrolled in the program. His first order of business was securing his academic records and letters of recommendation. Marcus scheduled meetings with his teachers and his school counselor to explain the situation and request their support. Each conversation was a reaffirmation of his potential and a reminder of the community backing him. With administrative tasks underway, Marcus shifted his focus to the more personal aspects of preparation. He began attending workshops on cultural sensitivity and leadership, hosted by local community centers. These sessions were designed to polish the skills necessary for navigating diverse environments, crucial for his upcoming travels. Simultaneously, he embarked on a personal project to improve his language skills. Enrolling in an online course for Spanish, he dedicated evenings to mastering the language, understanding that communication would be key in his travels and future educational pursuits. The interactive exercises and conversational practice sessions gradually enhanced his confidence in speaking and understanding Spanish. Physical preparation was equally important. Marcus increased his visits to the gym, focusing on building stamina and maintaining his health. His routine was rigorous, combining cardiovascular exercises with strength training, ensuring he would be physically ready for the challenges of travel and the demands of a hectic schedule. In his spare time, Marcus explored documentaries and read books about the countries he might visit. This self-directed study broadened his understanding of global issues and prepared him mentally for the cultural immersion that lay ahead. Amidst these preparations, Marcus maintained his commitments at home and at school. His days were long, beginning before dawn and often ending well into the night. Yet each task completed brought him closer to his goal, fueling his determination with visible progress. As the days turned into weeks, Marcus's life was a whirlwind of activity, each day mapped out with tasks that propelled him towards his future. The balance he maintained between his studies, preparations, and personal responsibilities was a testament to his growing ability to manage multiple demands, an essential skill for the journey he was about to undertake. On a brisk autumn morning, Marcus attended his first official meeting at Evelyn Winters Enterprises. The towering skyscraper loomed above as he entered through its revolving doors, a now familiar route that brought both anticipation and a sense of belonging. The receptionist recognized him immediately, offering a bright smile as she directed him to the conference room where the orientation for new scholars was to be held. Inside, a diverse group of young individuals from various backgrounds gathered, each sharing the common thread of promise and potential that Evelyn's scholarship sought to cultivate. Marcus found himself among a vibrant tapestry of aspiring leaders, innovators, and thinkers. Introductions revealed peers committed to fields ranging from environmental science to public policy, each story adding layers to the rich mosaic of ambition and dedication. The orientation was led by several of Evelyn's associates who outlined the structure of the scholarship program, including the academic commitments, mentorship opportunities, and the logistics of international travel. Interactive sessions allowed the scholars to engage in team-building exercises, fostering a sense of community and mutual support that Marcus found both comforting and invigorating. Later, Marcus participated in his first mentorship meeting with Mr. Thomas Keller, a renowned historian who had worked extensively in Latin America, the region Marcus hoped to focus on during his studies. Mr. Keller's office was an archive of his travels and research, walls lined with books and artifacts that each held stories of historical significance. Their conversation flowed from academic advising to practical tips for living abroad. Mr. Keller shared anecdotes from his fieldwork, emphasizing the importance of adaptability and respect for local customs. Marcus listened intently, absorbing every word, aware that the knowledge shared here would shape his approach to future interactions and studies. As part of the mentorship program, Marcus was also tasked with developing a project proposal that addressed a real-world issue. He chose to focus on educational disparities in urban settings, a topic close to his heart and relevant to his community back home. Research sessions in the library became a regular part of his schedule, where he delved into existing studies, sought out innovative solutions, and prepared to present his findings to a panel of experts in the coming months. The weeks passed in a blur of activities and learning experiences that stretched Marcus's capabilities and understanding. Each new encounter was a thread in the ever-expanding web of his network, connections that would support and influence his journey long into the future. On one particularly memorable evening, the scholars were invited to a formal dinner hosted by Evelyn Winters herself. The event took place in an elegant banquet hall where conversations buzzed among the clinking of glasses and the soft hum of orchestral music. Evelyn moved through the room with grace, engaging with each scholar, her interest in their progress and well-being evident in her every interaction. Marcus found himself in a discussion with a group of seasoned professionals from the corporate and nonprofit sectors, each sharing insights into their paths and the challenges they had overcome. The advice and stories shared that night expanded his understanding of the possible trajectories his career and life could take. inspiring him with new ideas and possibilities for collaboration. As the evening drew to a close, Marcus stepped out onto the balcony overlooking the city lights. The skyline, a jagged silhouette against the night sky, seemed less like a boundary and more like a horizon, vast and unlimited. The air was cool and crisp, whispering of autumn's transition and the changes it brought, mirroring the transformative journey Marcus was embarking upon.
With the turn of the season, Marcus's preparations took on a new intensity, mirroring the brisk chill that now swept through the city streets. His daily routines were interspersed with sessions that challenged his intellect and expanded his cultural perspectives. His mornings were often spent in seminars that delved deep into global politics and economics, providing him with a broader understanding necessary for his upcoming international experiences. One crisp morning, Marcus joined a workshop focusing on international relations, held at a local university. The room buzzed with the energy of eager minds. Here, scholars and students alike debated over global issues, their voices a blend of passion and knowledge. Marcus found himself deeply engaged, his contributions well received, which boosted his confidence in his own understanding and his ability to communicate complex ideas effectively. Later that week, he visited a cultural fair in the city, where he immersed himself in the customs, food, and music of the countries he would soon visit. Each booth was a gateway to a different part of the world, offering hands-on experiences that were both educational and exhilarating. He spent hours talking to natives, learning phrases in their languages, and tasting traditional dishes, each flavor a new discovery. As part of his commitment to understanding diverse educational environments, Marcus arranged to volunteer at a local school that implemented innovative teaching methods. Here, he interacted with children of various backgrounds, learning firsthand about the challenges and triumphs of education in a multicultural city. His time at the school was not just an opportunity to observe but to contribute, assisting in classrooms and sharing his journey with students eager to learn about the world beyond their neighborhood. The connection with these students sparked an idea for his project proposal. Marcus decided to focus on creating a program that would provide urban students with virtual tours of the world, enhancing their global awareness. He worked tirelessly, collaborating with educators and tech professionals to outline a plan that combined virtual reality with real-time interactions with students from other countries. His efforts led him to a technology fair, where innovators showcased tools that could help bring his idea to life. He explored the latest in educational technology, networking with developers who shared his vision for a more interconnected and empathetic global community. In the midst of these explorations, Marcus continued to cultivate his personal growth. He attended language exchange meetups, where he practiced his Spanish and even picked up phrases in other languages. These meetups were informal and lively, full of laughter and shared stories, making language learning an enjoyable and memorable part of his journey. Each night, as he returned home, Marcus reflected on his experiences, jotting down insights and ideas in his journal. This practice not only solidified his learning, but also allowed him to track his progress, noting how each new experience brought him closer to his goals. His network of mentors and peers grew, each new connection offering support, wisdom, and sometimes a challenge to his assumptions. Marcus found these relationships invaluable, as they provided both grounding and a push towards greater achievements. As Marcus's departure date for his first international study approached, he felt a mix of anticipation and readiness. The world was opening up before him, each step forward a stride into new realms of understanding and action. His once familiar city now seemed too small for his ambitions, as he prepared to step onto the global stage, ready to make his mark.
As the departure date drew near, Marcus's anticipation was palpable. He spent his days finalizing the details of his projects and ensuring that his commitments at home were in order before setting off on his international journey. His room, once cluttered with textbooks and basketball gear, now housed suitcases and travel guides, symbols of the imminent adventures. The first destination on his itinerary was Spain, chosen for its rich history and vibrant culture, which would serve as an excellent introduction to European studies. Marcus attended a pre-departure orientation where he received an overview of what to expect, cultural norms, and safety tips. His excitement was tinged with a hint of nervousness as he absorbed the practical advice and travel warnings. Evelyn Winters invited Marcus and a group of fellow scholars to her office for a send-off meeting. They gathered in a conference room with a view of the sprawling city below, a stark contrast to the places they would soon find themselves in. Evelyn shared her own experiences traveling the world, emphasizing the transformative power of such exposure. She gifted each scholar a journal, encouraging them to document every moment, challenge, and revelation. Armed with his new journal, Marcus felt a sense of solemnity. He was not just going to study abroad, but also to represent his community, his mentors, and the trust they had placed in him. The weight of this responsibility was balanced by the exhilaration of stepping into the unknown. In the final week before his flight, Marcus visited his old school to say goodbye to his teachers and younger students who had looked up to him as a role model. At Mr. Simmons's request, he gave a short talk about his upcoming travels and the goals he hoped to achieve. His speech was met with enthusiastic applause, and many students lingered afterward, asking questions and expressing their admiration. The night before his departure, Marcus's family held a small farewell dinner. It was a heartfelt gathering, with his mother cooking his favorite dishes. They shared stories and laughter, reminiscing about Marcus's journey thus far and expressing their hopes for his future. His mother, always his staunchest supporter, pulled him aside, offering words of wisdom and a prayer for his safety and success. Packing his last items, Marcus checked his list twice, ensuring he had all necessary documents, electronic devices, and personal essentials. His passport, freshly stamped with his visa, lay atop his travel documents ready for use. Before going to bed, Marcus stepped out onto his balcony, looking over the neighborhood that had raised him. The familiar sights and sounds seemed to be encouraging him, pushing him toward this new phase of life. As he lay down, thoughts of the upcoming journey filled his mind. The places he would see, the people he would meet, and the knowledge he would gain all seemed like distant dreams slowly converging into reality. Restless with excitement, Marcus eventually drifted into a fitful sleep, his dreams a mosaic of the past and the vivid possibilities of the future.
Marcus arrived in Madrid under the azure expanse of an early morning sky, the city just beginning to stir. The air was crisp, tinged with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and baking bread from nearby cafes. His first steps on foreign soil were tentative, yet filled with an unspoken promise of discovery. He navigated through the bustling airport, his senses assaulted by a cacophony of languages and the general chaos typical of such a hub. After collecting his baggage, he found his way to the group of students who were part of the same exchange program. They were a diverse bunch coming from various corners of the globe, each looking as excited and somewhat overwhelmed as he felt. The program coordinators welcomed them warmly, guiding the group to a waiting bus that would take them to their accommodations. As they traveled through the city, Marcus was glued to the window, absorbing every detail of the streets that blended the old with the new. Historic buildings adorned with intricate facades stood proudly alongside sleek modern structures, each telling a story of Spain's rich cultural tapestry. Upon arriving at their residence, a charming old villa that had been converted into student apartments, Marcus was shown to his room, which he would share with another student from Brazil named Thiago. Thiago was friendly and talkative, immediately taking Marcus under his wing, eager to share his own experiences from a previous semester abroad in Italy. Over the next few days, Marcus and his fellow scholars attended a series of orientations and workshops designed to ease their transition into Spanish life. They were introduced to the nuances of local customs, the basics of navigating the city's public transportation system, and tips on how to make the most of their academic experience here. Classes began, and Marcus was immersed in a rigorous schedule filled with lectures, seminars, and field trips. His courses covered a range of topics from European history to contemporary political issues, each class providing new insights and broadening his horizons. The professors were experts in their fields, passionate about their subjects, and demanding in their expectations. Outside of class, Marcus spent his days exploring Madrid with his classmates. They visited the Prado Museum, where he stood in awe before the works of Velázquez and Goya, and walked the bustling Gran Via, experiencing the vibrant nightlife that the city had to offer. Each weekend offered a new adventure, from sampling tapas in the shadow of the royal palace to watching a live flamenco performance that captivated his senses and ignited his passion for Spanish culture. As Marcus delved deeper into the lifestyle, he found himself adapting to the local pace and even picking up nuances of the language that he hadn't been taught in his classes back home. Conversations with locals became smoother, and his confidence in using Spanish grew daily. In between his studies and explorations, Marcus kept a detailed journal, as Evelyn had suggested, documenting his experiences, thoughts, and the lessons learned along the way. This journal became a cherished possession, a tangible connection to his journey and transformations. Each day closed with a sense of fulfillment and anticipation for what the next would bring. Marcus often found himself reflecting on the rooftop of their villa, watching the sun set over the city's sprawling landscape, each sunset painting the sky with strokes of pink and gold, a reminder of the fleeting nature of his time in this enchanting city.
As Marcus's semester in Madrid neared its conclusion, the rhythm of the city had become a familiar heartbeat to his daily life. Each street corner held a memory, every cafe a story. His experiences had woven themselves into the fabric of his being, altering his perceptions and enhancing his understanding of the world. In his final weeks, Marcus devoted himself to completing his academic projects, which had blossomed under the tutelage of his professors. His main focus was a comprehensive paper analyzing the impact of cultural exchange on global education, a subject inspired by his own transformation since arriving in Spain. The research was meticulous, fueled by his personal experiences and the academic resources provided by the university. Simultaneously, Marcus worked to finalize his virtual reality education program. With the help of a local tech startup, he had developed a prototype that allowed users to experience educational journeys around the world. Presenting this project to his professors and peers, Marcus received constructive feedback that honed the program further, preparing it for potential implementation in schools back in the United States. As part of their farewell, the program coordinators organized a gathering for all the international students, giving them a platform to share their experiences and learnings. Marcus spoke eloquently about his journey, his words resonating with many who had undergone similar revelations. The camaraderie among the students was palpable, a mutual respect forged in the fires of shared adventure and academic rigor. The night before his departure, Marcus revisited his favorite spots in the city: a quiet park bench that overlooked the royal palace, a bustling market where he had learned to haggle in Spanish, and the small bookshop where he had spent countless hours lost in literature. Each place was a marker in his journey, a testament to his growth. Back at the villa, he packed his belongings with care, each item a chapter of his life abroad. His journals were packed on top, a priority for reflection during the flight home. Leaving his room for the last time, he exchanged heartfelt goodbyes with Tiago and other friends he had made, promising to keep in touch and perhaps reunite in another part of the world someday. On the flight back, Marcus's thoughts drifted over the past months, every challenge overcome, every lesson learned, and every friendship forged. The journey had expanded his world in ways he had never imagined, embedding a deep sense of gratitude and a renewed passion for his future. Landing back in New York, the familiar sights and sounds of his hometown were both comforting and strangely foreign. His mother was waiting for him at the airport, her eyes welling with tears as she embraced him. Marcus felt the change within himself, a new confidence and maturity that had not been there before. Over the following weeks, Marcus reacquainted himself with his city, seeing it with new eyes. He presented his project to local schools, receiving enthusiastic support and interest. His experiences in Madrid had not only transformed him, but were now poised to impact others. As he moved forward, Marcus carried with him the lessons of his travels: adaptability, empathy, and an unquenchable curiosity about the world. Ready to face new challenges, he was committed to using his knowledge and experiences to make a difference, wherever his path would lead next. His journey had taught him that each ending was merely the beginning of another adventure, and he was eager to see where his next steps would take him.